One of the most hotly debated topics on any cruise line is the food, but especially on a Disney cruise. I have surveyed over 10,000 avid Disney cruise fans, and today I have the best and the worst appetizers and entrees on Disney Cruise Line, so you know exactly what to try first and maybe what to skip on your next cruise. Now, as you get into any Disney cruise videos, and especially those about the dining, you are going to hear about Palo. Our first comment is no exception, and says, the best thing I've eaten, the entire menu at Palo, hands down, starting with the delicious little bite at the beginning of the meal. Now I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say this is Palo dinner. Palo is their northern Italian specialty dining restaurant on all of the cruise ships, Palo on the first 4 and Palo Steakhouse on the Wish class. That delicious little bite at the beginning of the meal is known as an amuse-bouche. This is usually one bite that prepares the palates for the meal to come. This is often done in Palo. One of the most recent ones is a little piece of fried gnocchi served in a mushroom sauce. Palo is something you'll hear about a lot. Typically, it's going to be Palo Brunch. We actually have a few more referencing Palo, but we'll come back to that for sure. On the other end of the scale, we have the worst, and this is an appetizer at the French restaurant on board. Each of the first 4 ships, Magic, Wonder, Dream, and Fantasy, all have a French restaurant on the ship. Each of those 4 though have the same menu. And the travel kid says it was the escargot for me. The snails made my stomach hurt for the whole cruise. Now the escargot is actually one of those hotly debated topics. People either really seem to love the escargot or hate it. As a matter of fact, that goes for the entire French restaurant, because you're going to see this one come back around throughout the video. The escargot is snails. It doesn't look the best, and for me it's not a big hit. I do not love the escargot. My son though loves them, so every time he gets the escargot, I eat his bread. I take it and dip it in that sauce because the sauce that comes with it is really good. It's lemon and garlic, probably a little bit of wine, really delicious. But the escargot, I've got to agree with the travel kid, it's not my favorite. It doesn't actually make my stomach hurt, I just don't like them. But that's one of the great things about trying something on a Disney cruise. If you don't like it, no problem. They'll take it back, ask them to bring you another appetizer, another entree, that's fine. Except for at Palo. At the specialty restaurants, the items are limited, but at the main dining restaurants, you can order as many items as you want, and I actually like that because their courses are smaller so that you can try multiple things. Now here's one that I was surprised to see. Jumping over to the Treasure. This is Disney Cruise Line's newest ship, the Disney Treasure. They have a Coco themed restaurant, which is going to have Mexican food. Jill says she's been on 34 Disney cruises. Great job, Jill. That's amazing. Jill says in January, the tortilla soup and the guacamole in Coco were inedible. That's a bummer. I love tortilla soup. I was a little bit surprised to see this because the newer ships do get a lot of props on their food. They really have been stepping up the flavors on the new ships, and this is the only time that she has experienced this. The bread was not good. The rest of the food in Coco was very mediocre, but typically this is not her normal experience. 34 cruises and this is the only time, so that's a good sign. But I hate to hear that the guacamole and the tortilla soup were not good in Coco. I love a good tortilla soup. I do wonder how fresh the guacamole is on board. Anybody know? Any huge guacamole fans out there? I love a good guacamole. I will travel for good guacamole. And even though they did not love everything at Coco, one of the things that I've heard is really good there is the El Diablo shrimp and also the enchilada. It's really hard to go wrong with a good enchilada. Now here's one I really like. May the Rabbit says that the wedge salad with pepper jack cheese and Thousand Island dressing at Tiana's place on the Wonder was so good. She said she doesn't even like salad, but it's simple perfection. She thinks about it way more often than one should think about a salad. I totally resemble this remark. The Caesar salad and the Greek salad on Disney Cruise Line, especially on the Wonder, are heaven. I love them so much. It's interesting interesting because I've gotten the Greek salad on the Fantasy, the Dream. It's not the same. I'm not quite sure what they do with it on the Wonder, but it's so good. We haven't tried the wedge salad with pepper jack and Thousand Island dressing at Tiana's place yet, but I guarantee you I will on the next cruise. Tiana's place is just so fun anyway. We really love the music, the entertainment. It's hard for me to pick one dish that I really love at Tiana's though. It would probably be, honestly, it would be Big Daddy's prime rib. That actually is a really good cut of meat in there. The shrimp and grits with andouille sausage is pretty good as well though. One thing to know about Tiana's place is that it's not quite as spicy as you may expect from Cajun food, but it is really good. And actually, I was surprised not to see this on the favorite side of the dishes because the Cajun spiced sea bass gets a lot of rave reviews from Tiana's as well. The one thing that is a little disappointing is their beignets. I hate to say that, but they were not the best. And May the Rabbit had a worst item as well, also on the Wonder, but this one is Triton's. That's that French restaurant. The French restaurant did not get a lot of love. The vegetarian mushroom ravioli in Triton's on the Wonder was inedible. The ravioli had no flavor. The sauce tasted like, oh no. The sauce also, she says, was not good. Hopefully it wasn't that bad. Thankfully, this was our first dinner on board, so it only went up from there. Happy to hear that. This particular French restaurant will have the same menu on all of the first 4 ships, Magic, Wonder, Dream, and Fantasy. And actually, Triton's does have my least favorite dish as well. And that is their conchiglie pasta. It's buttered lobster tossed in a tomato shrimp tarragon brandy sauce with lemon and basil. That sounds really good to me. It honestly was really bad. I really don't recommend it at all. I was really surprised because the soups at the French restaurant are amazing. It's hard to go wrong with French onion soup. It's got that deep onion flavor with some bread and cheese. That's pretty much a winner in my book. They also have the leek and potato soup, which is another one of my favorites on board the ship. So make sure and try the soups while you're at the French restaurants. And here's another one that I was kind of surprised about. Devana says the assortment of hard breads served at dinner are horrible. I enjoy soft breads and I wish that they would replace these with yummy soft warm rolls and buns. I agree, except unless it's sourdough. Then I really love that nice crunchy bite. So good. But I also really try to avoid most of their breads. They have a uniquely flavored bread and dip to go with it for each restaurant on the ship. It's just a fun token that's at dinner every night. There's always going to be a unique bread and dip at each restaurant. I do try to taste them because I love a good bread and dip, but I also try to not do much more than that because they definitely will fill you up quick. There's so much food. I really try to stick with the proteins and vegetables, but a nice, yummy, soft, warm roll, I agree, is heaven. Now back on the yummy side of things, chicken parm at Palo Brunch is a huge favorite. Both Rich and Philly fan really love the chicken parm at Palo Brunch. The chicken parmesan at Palo Brunch is a huge favorite. Palo Brunch is also a huge favorite. It is an extra cost. It has a dress code. It's 18 and above, and it is typically only available on sea days. While Palo Brunch is a favorite on the ships, it has changed a little bit over the years. It gets a little pricey. Palo is running about $50 per person these days. They used to have the Palo Brunch as a big buffet. Pre-COVID, they would just have it spread out everywhere. Seafood, caviar, breads, meats, cheeses, and then a whole nother menu where you can order. They still have all of that stuff available. It's just not laid out all over the restaurant anymore. They bring it to you in bits. So they'll bring you a bread plate, they'll bring you a seafood plate, and then you also can choose from the hot menu as well. The chicken parm is a huge favorite. It has a bechamel sauce that I think is probably one of the reasons it is loved so much. We do really enjoy Palo Brunch. The eggs Benedict is also really good. It is getting at the end of my price range though, $50 per person. I'm not going to spend much more than that on a breakfast or brunch just because at $50 a person, it's starting to get to the edge of the price range though for me. But I highly recommend Palo Brunch if you're looking for a nice 2-hour experience to just slowly enjoy a lot of flavor. That's a good way to go. And Devana Hall mentions hands down, no contest, one of the best things on the cruise ships, and literally more memorable than anything she ate during Palo Brunch was the Churro Waffles. I agree, the Churro Waffles are pretty darn good. They are going to have the Mickey Churro Waffles at least one day of your cruise up at the buffet, Cabanas, or Marceline Market. Sometimes they have it more than once. Make sure you check. If it's something you want specifically, make sure you check, because the Churro Waffles really are quite good. And I will admit, unpopular opinion, I'm not really big on the Mickey waffles, but the Churro Waffles is a whole different dynamic. And while we're talking about all those yummy breakfast foods, everything VIP says the French toast on the Dream, hands down, best thing. And I am a French toast lover, but I actually have not tried it on board the ships yet, so that's going on my list. Now, I like Anne's view here, because when asked about the worst things on the ship, she says, honestly, nothing really. The snacks in the Cove Cafe are a little dry, but the main restaurants are wonderful. They have a lovely selection. There's always something to choose for everyone. Plus, if you find something gross, they'll make you something you like, which is true. If you don't like something, just order something else off the menu. They're happy to bring it to you. And a big tip here is, while you are in main dining, you will have your servers that will travel through each restaurant with you. Ask their opinions, as they get to know you and your taste better throughout the cruise, especially if you're on a 7-night or longer cruise. They're gonna get to know your taste pretty well. Ask them what they suggest. Even if it's the first night of the cruise, still ask them what they suggest. They're on the ship all the time. They know what's best. I actually did not ask their opinion our first few cruises, because I really love steak, so I was always going for the beef every night. It's not always the best. I have learned to ask their opinion. And for those that may not know, another pro tip here, the snacks in the Cove Cafe on the first 4 ships, Magic, Wonder, Dream, and Fantasy, they will have a snack case in the Cove Cafe. This is the coffee shop that is for 18 and above, and all of the snacks in that case are included with the cost of the cruise. They will change during the day. They will have different ones for the morning than they will have for the afternoon, but they don't have that on the Wish class ships. Steven hasn't had the opportunity to cruise with Disney yet. Don't worry, you're not alone. That's why we make these videos, so that when you do, you know what to order and what to avoid. Now here's a fun one, because we haven't had any mentions of alcohol yet. Fire Slinger Pirate says the Gin Tea Tonic at O'Gill's is one of the best things they've had on the ship. O'Gill's is one of the pubs on board, and this is a cocktail that has Hendrick's Gin, Green Mango Peach Tea, and King's Ginger. It's a unique twist on a classic gin and tonic, incorporating fruit and tea flavors. Now, these are the types of things that really made me wish I was willing to branch out. Gin is a little too strong for me, but that sounds very good. And since we've got this gin tea tonic here, I have to mention my very favorite cocktail on the cruise ships, and that's a pina colada. It is a raspberry pina colada. It is so good. Now, for the worst item, Fire Slinger Pirate says the lobster at dinner was pretty overcooked, and the Indian food in the buffet in Cabanas were the worst two things by far. I would say the lobster is okay at dinner. It's usually on the longer cruises. The Indian food is one of the things that I do really enjoy when they have it on the ships. But that lobster pasta in the French restaurant, if you're talking about that one in particular, I agree. It is not good. And here's the other thing in the French restaurant, since we're back there. Rich says, I don't eat a lot of duck, but I tried the crispy duck breast on the Fantasy and was not a fan. FFPM agrees, the duck was terrible. We have tried the duck as well. I am not a duck fan, so I want to say that at first, but I did not enjoy it. The two things at the French restaurant that we did really enjoy, though, were the roasted rack of lamb. My son really enjoyed that one. And the Chateaubriand is pretty good in there as well. But the French restaurant did not get a lot of love from our polls. And there was only one thing that was on the favorite and the worst. I was really looking to see if this was going to happen, and that is the vegetable samosa. This is specifically from the Pirate Night menu. They will have this on 4-night or longer cruises for the Caribbean and the Bahamas specifically. Connie said the samosas were not good for me. The food is okay. Many times though, it's not hot. That's a big deal. I want my food appropriately hot. I totally agree, Connie. I like my food hot as well. I think traveling from the kitchen to the dining room, it's one of the things about cruising. It's not always going to be piping hot. On the other end of the scale, Q104 said 2 things stand out. In the main dining room for breakfast, the Eggs Benedict is phenomenal. Totally agree. I love their Eggs Benedict. The other is on Pirate Night and is the vegetable samosa. He really enjoys the vegetable samosas, even though he's not much of a vegetable eater. Besides the French restaurant, the Pirate Night menu is the most hotly debated menu on board. People really do either seem to enjoy it or dislike it. And honestly, it gets a lot more on the dislike end of the scale. I do enjoy the crab cakes on the Pirate Night menu. And as far as worst food on the ship goes, Michael mentioned that it just is bland food all around. They actually used to not have salt and pepper on the tables at all. There are some items that are a little bland. I do like that they have salt and pepper on the table now because that can help. And this one is a blast from the past. TSA Search Bag Full mentions that at Palo, during the brunch, they have their favorite item, which is the Grape Gorgonzola pizza. This pizza has been off the menu for a very long time, but it is so popular, people keep requesting it. We got it again about 5 years ago. I haven't been to Palo Brunch in a while because it changed and I just haven't been. The last time that we went though, 4 years ago, they would not do the Grape and Gorgonzola pizza. So it can be hit or miss, but it is a great combination. Huge fan favorite. And rounding out the list, Rachel says the Ahi Tuna Tower appetizer at Enchanted Garden was the best thing for them. That actually is really popular with my son as well. He really enjoyed the Ahi Tuna Tower. Enchanted Garden is specifically on the Dream and Fantasy. Now I have to say I was really surprised that no one mentioned 2 of the huge fan favorites that I am always seeing in Facebook groups, and that is the pasta Purseittes with truffle sauce at Animator's Palette. This is an appetizer that is really good and very popular. The other fan favorite is the chocolate souffle at Palo Dinner. I will admit I am not really much of a fan of the chocolate souffle. It's a little one note for me. It's just not that exciting. I much prefer a really good creme brulee or tiramisu. So I was really surprised to see that neither one of those showed up in our poll. I love that we got some new items here. And on our poll for worst items on the cruise ships, the last one here that we haven't mentioned yet is Jan says the reduced sugar carrot cake. I can believe that. I'm not much of a carrot cake fan anyway though, so do with that what you will. Okay, so I am a little bit surprised that there is very little here from the new restaurants from the new Wish class ships, specifically 1923. 1923 is the animation focused restaurant on the new ships. They have a pepper filet that people really enjoy there. They have this Burrata mozzarella appetizer that is really popular. And for dessert, one of the fan favorites, of course, is the churros. They come with a Dulche de Leche dipping sauce. Yeah, that sounds like an excellent combination. For 1923, they will have this recipe on all 3 of the Wish class ships, the Wish Treasure and the Destiny, most likely. We'll see when it comes out, but I'm almost positive it'll be on the Destiny as well. The other one that I was a little bit surprised not to see was the frozen restaurant Arendelle. They have this appetizer which is baked scallops inside of a puff pastry. This is another big fan favorite on the Disney Wish. And for you buffet lovers, I have a couple of tips here as well. First of all, Embarkation is the big fan favorite there. They're gonna have crab legs, they have some lamb sometimes on the buffet. They're gonna have different things on the Embarkation buffet that you might not see throughout the rest of the cruise. I am always an advocate for avoiding the buffet. However, recently we went on a competitor cruise line and I really enjoyed all of the curries that they had at the buffet, so it made me readdress how I approach it. The big thing with buffet is they are usually very crowded and it can be hard to get a table. So pro tip, go find your table first. And if you're like me, if you're a little bit sensitive to all of that energy and noise that might be going on in the buffet area, follow it out because there is almost always an outdoor deck that is nice and calm and peaceful. That's a beautiful place to eat your lunch. If you have enough people in your party, I highly suggest having one person hold the table while the other person goes to get the food. One other tip with the buffet on Disney Cruise Line is the drinks are included. So specifically inside Cabanas on the first 4 ships, they have this drink station set up just like this. It'll have the juices, coffee, sodas. They will have that at Marceline Market as well on the Wish class ships, and all of the ships have the sodas included at the drink station that is up on the pool deck as well. They're typically going to have the same things there: tea, coffee, milk, sodas. People sometimes like to bring a bigger cup from the stateroom. They have little tiny cups there, so that's something you can do also. Now, just in general for dining, I think it is important to know a few things. One, the buffets are not going to be open for dinner. All of the 3 main dining restaurants will be open. You will be assigned a rotation, which you will get when you get on the ship. If you are not wanting to go to main dining for some reason, your choices are pretty limited. They have the specialty dining. You need to make sure and make a reservation for that. There is a dress code. They will have quick service, which will have some limited options available. They will have room service, which has a pretty limited menu, and then the main dining. For breakfast and lunch, it's going to be the opposite. You will have the buffets open for breakfast and lunch, and you will have one main dining restaurant that is open for about an hour and a half for breakfast and lunch. Unless you are in port, sometimes they are not open for lunch if you are in port. And conversely, the specialty dining is available for brunch, but that is only on sea days. And again, they do need reservations. And my very favorite thing to get while we're on the ship is always room service. We love to get the continental breakfast in the morning with some juice, some fruit, and some coffee. It's a beautiful way to wake up to enjoy that on the veranda. I really love getting a salad late at night or warm cookies and milk, depending on the mood. A lot of people like to get cookies and a Mickey bar. Mickey bars are not on the menu, but they do have them. You can put those together and make yourself an ice cream sandwich. For us, by far, the worst thing was the lobster pasta at the French restaurant. It's just not good. And the beignets are a little disappointing. So let us know in the comments below. Was your favorite on here or was your least favorite on here? And if you haven't seen it yet, go check this one out. Can Universal dethrone Disney Cruise Line? Make sure you're subscribed. Share these with your friends. We really appreciate it. We'll see you real soon with some more Disneys.